Watch this video first. We'll revise the chapter.
Sources about the cities. In the 6th century BCE, states and republics called Mahajanapadas were formed, which led to urbanization in North and South India. The growth of these urban centers and towns during this period is called Second Urbanization. During the Second Urbanization, as trade grew, guilds of traders and craftsmen called shrenis were formed. These shrenis provided training to the new craftsmen, acted as banks, and gave grants to temples and monasteries. Let us go through the different sources that throw light on the life in towns and villages during the Second Urbanization. To study the growth of early Indian towns, various sources of study are considered. These include archaeological excavations, carvings on the walls of monuments like stupas, temples, or caves, and literature such as the Jataka tales. The Pali texts highlight the classification of the different towns and villages during the Second Urbanization. Punch-marked silver and copper coins are also an important source of information for this period. The Second Urbanization gave rise to a very glossy and shiny type of pottery found in North India called the Northern Black Polished Ware. It was mostly used by the richer classes. The Second Urbanization paved the way for the growth of India.
So today we'll talk about religious towns. Some of the towns grew tremendously because they were religious centers. Just a minute. This we have done. We'll talk about literature today. Quite a lot of information can be gathered from the literary texts, written text. We find several mentions of towns and rulers of this period. From Asthadhyay, the book, the grammar written by Panini. So from where we get the information? From the literary text. So what is Panini? Panini was an ancient Sanskrit philologist, that is grammarian, and a revered scholar in ancient India. Those who are studying the history of the India. Since the discovery and the publication of his work and the European scholars in the 19th century, Panini has been considered the first descriptive linguist and even labeled as the father of linguists, fathers of languages, written in many languages. So today we'll talk about literature. The Buddhist text, what the Buddhists have written. Primarily, the Tripitaka narrates events related to the Buddha and the records of teaching. This is the name of the Tripitaka, the text. These are often set in urban contexts which encourage their use as data on urbanization, the lives of the city. The largest of the three Pitakas, Sutta Pitakas, includes Jatkas, stories through which one can throw the light, glimpse the city and the village life. So these books have thrown light on the life of the village and the towns. So we'll talk about what is Pitakas, Sutta Pitakas and Jatkas. These all are the Buddha's teaching recorded in that books. That's we are saying Pitakas means stories. These books are containing the stories of the Buddhas, mainly as they delivered in historical setting when they were preaching. It includes the Dharampada. The Dharampada means the path of verses of truth. We have already studied. We have already studied about the path of the Buddha, about the path of the truth, path of the Dharma. And it's the West known as all the Buddhist scripture in the West, that is Pitakas and Sutta Pitakas. So Pitakas are also the Tripitas is composed of three main categories. That's we are saying three. Three means three Pitakas, three books, three texts. The meaning of three Pitakas. So in three texts, which stories were there? Pitaka stories. That they have given the category collectively constitute the Buddhist preaching. And one is Sutta Pitakas and other one is Jhatka stories. Jhatka stories are also the combination that consists in three Pitaka. They are the stories about the kings and the queens, through which one of the, then they shows the villages, about the people of the village and the towns in these stories, how they spent their life. That are Jhatka stories, the city and the life of the city and the village's life. Around 2300 years ago, many literature in Tamil language were composed in South India. They together from a Sangam literature, which the Sangam means Milan. When we combine all the things, we are saying Sangam. Then the combined literature as these were composed and assembles called Sangam. When? In 2300 years ago. And written in, composed in South India, and which in Tamil, in which language, which literature? Tamil literature. We talk about coins. Coins were an important source of urbanization information of this period. Archaeologists have been able to dig out, those who are doing the studies of the old monuments, old things, they dig out the ground and find out the historical things and find out the history of that things. Archaeologists have been able to dig out a number of coins belonging to the period of second urbanization. These kinds were punch-marked coins. These kinds were made of silver and copper. These kinds were symbols. What they are in the coins? They were symbols, the marks and designs, each of which was punched on that time with a separate punch. Hence, they were known as punch-marked coins. That's why they were known as, they are images of some that kings are, that sometimes the food grains, some punch words they have you seen in your coins, that coin you are using sometime, the pictures of the Mahatma Gandhi Parliament House, that type punch, they that time they have put the pictures of that. That's why we are saying punch marked coins. The coins are called punch marked because of their Manufacturing technique, special technique was there. At that time, they were mostly made of silver. These were symbols, pictures of which were punched on the coins with a separate punch. These are punch marked coins. So people in the towns and the village, we have studies about their food grains, about agricultures, about their trade system, about literature, about coins. So there are more things we have to see. There are several references to the villages and towns in the Pali text are also there. Many of these towns seem to be situated within the cluster villages, means group of village. This text speaks this type. Pali text speaks this text of village. So we'll get information from the Pali text also. First Trikita's text and now Pali text. The first category include village inhabited, how they spent their life, how they were living by different caste and communities, and were headed by a village headman called Grambojka or Gramini or Gramika. What we call the village headman? Grambojka, Gramini or Gramika. They also served as policemen and judge at time. There were also policemen and judge. The second urbanization were craft village or subordinate village also. So the people were doing craft work, making things out of other things, out of jute bags, handmade things, craft works they were using. Our subordinate village were craftsmen's living, and craftsmen living, those who are doing craft work. There are other villages also. For example, a carpenter were living village lay close by Varanasi. These villages served as market for other villages and links with the towns. The third category was broader villages with merged with forest, and some big villages were there and merged with forest. People living here mostly hunters and gatherers, and they depend on forest only. They are hunting there and gathering food from there and living their life. Generally in these villages, the Bojka, the headman, was the biggest landowner. Other rich peasants were known as Grihpatis and Grihapatas. That other persons, those who are in the villages, those who spend life in the towns and the villages, the other persons are called Grihpatis and the Grihapatas. Similar peasants were known as Krishikas or just a minute. Similar peasants were known as Krishikas or Kashas, the cultivators, those who are cultivating the land. They were saying them Krishaks, and the Kasaks, those who are cultivating the land, growing the food, sowing the wheat, plowing the field, sowing. There are exited the landless laborers are dasas, those who don't have land, their own land. They call them dasas. And the karmakaras, who cultivate the lands of the rich peoples. And those who are people, those who are working on others' land, doing that peasantry on others' land, they are calling them dasas. Dasas means what? Servants working on others' land. Those who don't have their own land. And karamkaras means working people. Who cultivate the land of the richer people, those who are the landowners. Beside this, there were also some craftsmen in the village, like potters, those who are making things out of hands. We are saying craftsmen, potters making pots out of mud, blacksmiths doing iron works, making things out of oil, weavers weaving the things out of jute, bamboo sticks, and the carpenters doing the work with the wood, making the furniture, making the things with the hand. At that time, craft and art was also flourished. This period, 700 to 200 BCE, is also noted for a different type of pottery known as northern black polish ware. It was a very glossy, shiny type of poetry found in North India. Hence, the name, the poetry, suggested that it was used for the rich classes because it was polished and it took labor. That's why it was very expensive and only richer people were using. In the town, several crafts were practiced. More work were doing with the crafts as they were inhabited by the craftsmen and merchants also, those who are doing the trade of the craft things. These merchants and craftsmen formed their own association. They had made their own group known as shrines and gulits. We had also already talked about when their people are making the association groups and learning something in that group. We are saying shrenis or gulits. Shrenis means groups, gulits means groups. This text, this written text mentioned gulits of smiths, painters, carpenters, leather workers, and ivory works in the town. These gulds, these groups acted as training center. They are giving training to other villagers, other craft persons, and banks for the peoples, and created banks for the people so that whatever they are getting, they can deposit in that bank their money. They also put, procured raw material, bringing raw material and distributed, and the finished products. First, they are bringing raw material from the forest and then making the things out of them. That is called finished product. When the things are gets ready, we are saying finished material products. Means they are bringing jute from the forest and they are making bags out of jutes, mats out of jutes. That we are saying finished product, and they are, and the merchants that they are selling in the market. Generally, over long distances, remember the towns were also the seats of administration. Hence, the administrator also formed as a part of the population. Those who are working there, running the cities, also running the urbanization. These were although the parts of the towns also doing their administration, ruling that towns and the villages, looking whole work, processing the work. Okay. Yes, students. Now, if you have any questions regarding this chapter, you can ask me. You can raise your hands, please. Yes. Pujnik. Yes, Pujnik.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I didn't understand blacksmith.
Those who are doing work with iron, making the things with the iron. Now you understood?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Yes. Any other girl? Javish Kaur. Yes, Javish.
Ma'am, I can't understand coins.
Coins. Okay. That time punch marked coins. I had shown you the pictures also. So students, archaeologists, you understood? They are digging the ground and finding the things of the past things. So they got so many coins, found coins from a number of sites, places. They excavated, they are digged and find. They dug the ground and find. These coins are called punch marked coins. Why these are called punch marked coins? Because of the design, were punched and marked. Have you seen the punching machine? Stamp,
Yes,
have you seen? If you made from the market your name stamp, they have punched, your name is written on there, designed on there. But these coins were of metal. Which metal? Silver and copper, and less frequently of tin, sometimes lead also. So these coins are called punch marked coins. These coins, they were found from there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Stamp, like stamp, they have put stamp on that. That's why punched. Some pictures, some images are punched on that. Yes. Okay. Any other girl? Yes, Supriya. Yes, Supriya. Hmm.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, dear.
Ma'am, I was not able to understand the first paragraph of literature.
Okay, first paragraph of literature. And students, please underline also the difficult things and afterwards ask me. See, we got lot of information. I gave you lot of information about their business, about the urbanizations, about their process. And we found more information also. From where? From the Asthadhyay, the book of grammar. There is one book we called Asthadhyay. Who has written that? Panini. I told you who was a Panini. The person who's known as linguist, known many languages. He has written about the urbanization, about the towns and cities in many languages. So we got information from his text, his books also, which he has written. Did you get, Priya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just Samvedna Rakwal. Yes, Samvedna.
Ma'am, I didn't understand the second para of art and craft.
Second paragraph of
Art and craft.
art and second. See, we were talking about black ware pots, that black polished pots. Who were making that? That potters were making that. So in the towns and several craft, those who are, which crafts were, things were there, craft things were there.
Yes, ma'am.
Crafts were so many things of the crafts, not only parts, other things they were also making of the crafts. Okay.
Yes.
And these merchants, and they were inhabited. फिर वो ऐसे ही अपना गुजारा चलाते थे, अपना जीवन, जैसे we people are earning money to doing the business, to doing the job, and these people are doing craft works and selling in the market and living their life, spending their life. That's why saying inhabited by the craftsmen and merchants. They are selling the things to the craftsmen and merchant, and they are getting the benefit, and merchant doing the business, selling the things with to the other people in the markets and other places, also doing the business, also that trade also. These merchants and craftsmen form their own, and when they are giving things to the craftsmen and the merchants, they are making the things and giving the things to the craftsmen and the merchants. What they do? They form a association. Shrenis, we are Shreni. Shreni is a Hindi word. Okay? Shreni.
Yes, ma'am.
They are making the group and association, and they are teaching more things to make or create more creativity to the craft persons. Those are making things out of hands. Which craft persons? That carpenters, leather workers, not only ivory that have you seen the elephant's teeth? Have you seen? Ivory is a hard, creamy, white substance composing the main part of the tusk of the elephants. Okay? What we say? Tusk of the elephant. Did you get the meaning? Okay, Samvedna?
Yes,
We are
ma'am.
doing the business. More you want, or this is enough? This is enough? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
You are most welcome. Gungun, yes, Gungun. Yes, Gungun.
Ma'am.
Tikku.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Very good
Yes,
afternoon,
ma'am.
dear.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of weavers? And ma'am, what is Pali text?
What is the meaning of? Speak the
Ma'am,
spelling.
weavers.
Weavers.
W.
Those who are weaving,
Yes,
bunte hain jo haath se. Now they are handlooms. We are making carpets. Earlier they were making with the hands. Earlier they were making the things weaving. They were weaving the shirts.
Okay,
That the carpets we were using, shirts with, they are weaving with hands. After that, handlooms were there. After that, handlooms were there. So many things.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
machines have come. For earlier they were doing work with the hands. That's why we are saying craft person. That's why we are saying craft person. And other thing,
Ma'am,
what did you
other
ask?
one, ma'am, Pali text.
Okay, about polytext. The polytext is a society. That is also a group. It was founded in 1881 by Thomas William Rice Davies. Why? To promote the study of Pali texts. Pali is a language. We are talking about the literature. Pali is a language in which the text of Triveda was written. Means about schools of Buddhism. Is written how the Buddhism had preached, what they were doing, written about Buddhism. Understood about Pali text? Then if any other
Yes,
girl
ma'am.
asks now about Pali text, so you have to give the answer. Can you give the answer Pali text? Gungun, you
Yes,
understood now?
yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
afterward you give the
Yes,
answer.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes, Japanese core. Yes, Japanese core.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, dear.
मैम मेरे को जो क्वेश्चन है वो इस
You
चैप्टर से
don't know
रिलेटेड
how
नहीं
to
है.
talk in English. You don't know how to talk in English. Is this a Hindi period? Child, is this a Hindi period?
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
Japanese.
Sorry,
Now
ma'am.
speak. Yes, now speak. You're talking to your teacher. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, speak.
Sorry, ma'am.
No problem.
Ma'am, I have no questions about this chapter.
Yes.
I want to ask that the rise of religions, the F
Rise of
part,
what?
right?
Right
Ma'am,
or
about the
rise?
rise of religions.
Yes.
Ma'am, the F part answer the question in 80 or 100 words. Ma'am, the
Yes.
second question which you have sent the PDF, it's not clear.
This which you are asking about previous chapter.
Yes, ma'am, the question.
Which
It's not
question you are
clear.
asking about?
Ma'am,
Okay,
F
I will
part.
send again. Okay, I will send again. Okay, you don't worry about that.
Okay, ma'am.
These
Thank you,
type of
ma'am.
message you can send me personally. Okay. You ask me
Okay,
question
ma'am.
about this chapter. If any other girl wants to ask, Udita Mahajan. Yes. Yes, Udita
Ma'am, what
Mahajan.
is the meaning of blacksmiths?
Yes. Who has asked me beforehand this question? Blacksmith. Who has asked? Please raise your hand. Pujnik, you have asked. One girl has asked me question that, and I have explained about blacksmith. Who is blacksmith? Have you seen blacksmith? Are you
No,
using
ma'am.
things of iron at home?
Yes, ma'am.
The person who makes things out of iron, who deals the work with the iron. Do you know the meaning of iron?
Yes,
Udita?
ma'am.
No, you understood who is iron smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is iron smith? No, you tell me. Who is iron? What is the meaning of iron smith? Make the things out of. Udita, give me answer. Why you are not giving me answer?
Who make the things of iron?
Yes. So please pay attention in class and listen carefully.
Okay, ma'am.
Navleen, what is your question, Navleen? Ask me question, Navleen. What is your question?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of not black polished wear?
Samvedana, are you here? Samvedana, please. Where is Samvedana? Hey, raise your hand, Samvedana. I'll find. This answer, Samvedana will give this answer because I have explained to
Okay, ma'am.
Samvedana. She's not here. So I'll tell you. Anybody knows this answer? You can raise your hand. Twice I have explained this. Okay, no problem. I will give the northern black polish wear. wears are the things. Polished, do you know the meaning of polish? We color that black color. Painted, black color wear. Pots, which is shiny, glossy. Pots, these are types of pots found in North India, the places which are in North India. Where are you living? You are living in North India, north part of India. Which are northern places are there. These where these parts are using in these places which black polished wear. These are the parts which are polished with black color and they are shiny. Did you understand, Navleen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any
Thank
other
you, ma'am.
girl? Ruhani Verma. Yes, Ruhani.
Ma'am, I'm not able to understand the second para of the literature.
I made understand. Who has asked me about second paragraph? Okay, I will explain. We were talking about the Buddhist text. Buddhist text mean the Tripitaka. There, it is consist of 3 parts. Narrates even events, the things relating to the time of Buddha, and records his teaching. Whatever the Lord Buddha had taught, these type of stories are in this book text, that is Tripitaka. Why it is Tripitaka? Because in there 3 types of stories are there. Which 3 types of stories? About urbanization, Pitakas, Sutta Pitakas, and Jatka stories are there. And I have talked about these stories. What are Pitakas, what are Jatka stories, and what are Sutta Pitakas. We had talked about earlier also about that. Pitakas are the stories. Sutta Pitaka contain Buddha's teaching. In these stories, which teachings are there? Buddha's teaching. Understood? Did you understand? Ruhani. Okay. Any other girl has to ask the question, then I close this class. Okay, students. Till then, bye. Have a nice day. Bye-bye, students.